well, you know, you can't really make it in China because the quality's not so good, and etc., etc., etc. Oh, you know, you're going to make it in Indonesia, that's going to be so difficult, the quality's not going to be so good, you know, etc., etc. And then when you don't know what the answer is, you kind of go along with it. You're like, oh yeah, I wonder if maybe we should be doing it. Maybe we should be producing in Italy or do this. But you suddenly find, since we've actually been on the ground in Asia, following our production, like literally, we've been in the room picking the buttons that go on each shirt, picking the color of the cotton that needs to be saddle stitched on a blazer, looking at the binding that's going to go at the bottom of the blazer, picking out the rivets for our denim. We've literally been in the factory with our team, hands-on, going through every single meticulous step. Why? Because if we don't do that, and I just sit here in Newport or New York waiting for my orders to just arrive, they will arrive and I'm going to open them and say, fantastic, we've got our first pair of jeans. I'm going to put those jeans on and I'm going to go, wait a minute, these are horrible. Send it back. I'm going to waste money, lose time, and keep the process going again. And it might take me 2 or 3 seasons to finally realize that, wait a minute, it would have been so much easier if I'd just gone on a plane, went over there, worked with them like this, and actually delivered exactly what I wanted. So
there's also another point about that too. The other point is you're there because you want to build a relationship with your team, right? There's no... You have
shortcuts.
to have, there's no shortcuts. You have to have relationships with everyone. So the people need to see us in the factories. They need to have a face. I need to give them the appreciation and the time and the courtesy to appreciate what it is that they do for me. Because if it's not for them, then I don't have the shirt to sell you. So you have to build the relationships with everyone. It's not just your customer. It's the people that make the clothing for you. It's your sales reps that sell the clothes for you. It's everybody. You have to have relationships. You have to give to all of them. They have to feel the effort from me so that they can put the love into the product. Because when you put that into the product, that's when you get greatness. And when you get greatness, that's when you're beyond successful. So it can't just be call up China, call up Indonesia, make me a pair of jeans, send them here, the fit's not right, to go back, and it's a waste of time, it's too long. Go there, meet Johnny, have a relationship, have him fit the clothes on you, build a rapport, so that when you want to email Johnny, Johnny responds to you like this. Johnny takes your calls all the time. Johnny doesn't put you on the back burner. Johnny doesn't go to another customer before you. You're first on Johnny's list, always. Why? Because you give it to him, so he gives it back to you. You don't just get stuck on another list of, I've got to get back to Erin, I've got to get back to Sam, and I've got to get back to Sally. I get it first, every single time, because I gave him the effort, because I took the time to understand his process and his needs. So it's not just about giving that to your customer. If you want to run a business, and you should look at your life as a business, then you have to give to everybody so that you can then, in turn, get exactly what it is that you need.
So how are you designing the product then? If you're going to the factory, you're doing all the steps, the design, the sourcing, all of that. You have a vendor over there?
We have a team. We have a collective. And what we're doing is we are building up our design collective. We've basically got a team, because our strength is in putting all the pieces together, right? So we have a design team in Indonesia handling men's, we have a design team handling women's. We're not literally going to sit down and sketch. That's not what we do.
No, but what I will do, I will pull pieces that I like, definitely went through my closet. We'll pull, you know, when we're out shopping, vintage, whatever, we'll
We'll pull it together.
We'll pull, I'm feeling this season, African, for example, and let's use these types of fabrics and these type of wovens, and you give inspiration or mood boards for people to then
I don't think Ralph Lauren sketches. You know what I mean? But Karl Lagerfeld does, because that's what he is. He's a designer.
He's a true designer.
He's a true designer. So I wouldn't say we're designers. We have a lifestyle concept, and we know what goods our customers require. So we're able to give it to them. You know what I mean? So like apparel is one component. We're going to be making shoes and handbags in Italy. That's another component. We're going to make fragrances in France. That's another. So it's all a well-rounded group of products that deliver for this consumer, right? Because that's what he or she wants. So that's what we're there to give it to them. So, but even in that, you still have to nurture the relationship with your group of designers. You know, they need to know that they are special. That's why they're working with us, and that's why we want them to do this
And
thing.
everybody does that. If you've watched the Karl Lagerfeld, what do you call those things when?
It's DVD, the documentary.
Documentary. When you watch the documentary, he has a relationship with all of those ladies that sew his dresses. They love him. They would die for him. And he would kill for them. So that's the relationship. If you're looking at me, you should watch the DVD then, because it's true. And it's because it becomes a family. It's,
You know what you're saying? Never or don't overlook the power of relationships. Don't think that just because this guy's a big shot, he's the only relationship you need to like foster.
he
The
understands
guy-
that he needs everybody.
The guy here who's giving you your rivets is just as important as the guy who's giving you a check for you to do this thing or whatever. It's like, it's such an important chain that if you miss one part of it, you're wondering why other pieces are messing up. So relationships, foster them, nurture them, and like hold on to them, because it's like gold. If you don't have your relationships in this business, like you don't know how to survive, because it's all networks,
And
right?
you never know when you're going to need them. You might not need them this season, but you might need them 2 seasons from now. Or something that you used 2 years ago and you haven't used for the past several seasons. You always want to keep your relationships. They're
Nurture them.
They're very, very important.
In fashion, retail, textile, it's like relationships, because that's the difference. That's actually smart work, not necessarily just hard work, right? That's you just allowing your relationships to actually do some of the work for you rather than you working so hard. So, yes, you should know the right people, and when you actually get to know them, don't let it go. Like, you maintain your relationships. They matter big time. And I don't just mean the fat cat who's giving you an opening in the door. I mean every little single person on the chain. It matters. Personally, I don't want to work in a factory with a face mask on churning cotton. That's not what I'm built for. However, when I met the guy who's doing it for me, I seriously appreciate what he's doing. Like, 'cause it's like amazing to watch. And I appreciate what he's doing. And if there's anything he needed me to do to make his life better or his job better, I would do it. Why? Because I need him to do what he does as best as possible, because he facilitates what I need, then I take what I have and I give it to my customers. So that's the chain. If I don't care about this guy just because, oh well, let's see, he's in a factory making $5 an hour, I'm way too good to talk to that guy, it's never going to work for me. That's never going to work. It's like, that guy is just as important as the CEO of the company. It's just what it is. It's the chain. And realizing that you're never better than anybody, nobody's ever better than you, and all things are possible. But if you nurture the relationships, that means you can hang out with the CEOs, you can hang with the janitor, you can hang out with the guy who makes the rivets, you can hang out with the guy who makes the pattern for your jeans, the guy who sources the product, and the whole thing comes together and you just get everything you want. Right? It's really that simple. But it's that simple, but it's hard to grasp because it is that simple. You're nurturing relationships. You are making sure you're on top of your own A game. don't even bother comparing yourself to others, right? Because that actually just gets in the way. So whenever people say, who's your competition in Newport? When we first went into Newport, we did our homework, right? Because you've got to do your homework. Because look, we're coming from New York City. You got a black guy with his white wife. We're in Newport, Rhode Island, and Newport's a pretty staid town. So it's like the waspy enclave. So my father-in-law would pretty much tell me, what the hell are you guys doing? And you're going into Newport, and you're selling, in 2008, the world's falling apart, and you're going to be selling pricey items. I have no idea what you're doing. But we're a success story, because we had a plan. We knew what we were doing, that's why we did it. You always need to have the plan, right? So, if you engage in this world of fashion, right? It's not about preparing yourself for disappointments, because don't bother thinking about this. Don't worry about failure. Forget failure. There's no such thing as failure. You
Just
really
means
need
that
to
the
understand
opportunity
that.
wasn't right for you, and it's a learning lesson to be
There
more
is
prepared for the next opportunity. 'Cause it will
No
always come.
such thing as failure. It's just a mindset. What you perceive as failure is just a step leading you to the next step. And once you get to the next step, you get to the next step. And then you get to the next step. And then you arrive where you want to arrive. And just always be prepared that when you arrive there, it may not be exactly as you wanted it, but it's exactly as it's meant to be. So in this world of retail and fashion, you might start here wanting to be a fashion merchandiser. But the opportunities arrive, and suddenly you find yourself in, I don't know, the design department, but you had no idea you wanted to do design. But you were open enough that you were guided that, no, actually, this is your strength and this is what you should be doing. But all you did was apply looking after the person in front, like paying attention to the person in front of me, listening to them. Like just basic, they're like basic traits which apply to any industry. And we just happen to be talking about fashion and retail. And we're only sharing with you what we've seen happen for us. And we've also realized that we've been open 7 years, right? And I've seen our company, our growth in 7 years. It could take 20 years, or it could take 30 years, but we applied our skill set to get us to the point where we are today, here, and now we're standing here talking to you. So again, the same points keep coming back over and over again. And they're simple. Really, really simple. It doesn't change, right? You think it changes, but it's always the same thing. Why? Because I have one particular customer. I've had this customer from the day we opened. He drives an oil tanker, right? Okay. He drives an oil tanker. Every season, right? Well, cargo ship.
Yeah.
Every season, without fail, he comes back from his trip. We're like one of his first stops in Newport. He'll come along with his dog. It's like clockwork. Like, I know the summer's starting when I see this guy. Because he'll show up. Hi, where you been? Oh, you've been in Korea? We have a conversation. We talk about 2 or 3 hours. He just talks to me. We just talk. Sometimes he'll buy something. Sometimes he won't buy something. It's almost irrelevant at this stage. But what that one guy has done for us in Newport is go around the whole town, telling the town how wonderful we are. This one guy knows so many people, and he's just, everyone will come up to and tell us, you know, by third party, because the experience he has with us is beyond just coming to buy a shirt.
But he does look much better now that we've met him.
Yes, yeah, totally. So again, it's paying attention to this individual, delivering his needs, and actually engaging him, and therefore everything just becomes interesting. So it actually becomes, you integrate yourself within the community that you're in. Meaning that, you know, we came from New York, we pretty much integrated ourselves within a community like Newport, because if you don't, I don't know how you could actually succeed in a town like that, because it's a very small town, it's very cliquey. If you don't know who your market is and who you're selling to, you're kind of stuck, because
And you're not respectful
of
their heritage and what they represent. You can't just go in and try to change things, right? You go in and integrate yourself, understand the market, and then give your own piece to it. And that's when you're accepted. You don't come in saying, look, I'm so awesome, come buy my stuff. It doesn't work like that, right? Then you're arrogant, people don't like you. You come in and you present yourself, and you're open, and you care about them. And when you care about them, then they let their guard down, and then they allow you, because they don't come in to shop, they come in for us to dress them, right? They come in for our expertise. That's why we're moving into the luxury brand, because of creating our own luxury brand, because it's no longer, they don't come to buy Marc Jacobs from me or to buy Etro from me. They come and buy those pieces from me because of how I choose them for them, right? You can buy very crazy Cavalli pieces. I had this one dress last season, cute little short sheath dress, leopard on the front of it, 4 styles, extra small to large, or sorry, sizes, extra small to large, 4 of them, that's it. Now, I sold all 4 dresses, but I sold the extra small to a lady who is about 52. I sold the small to a girl who is about 21. I sold the large to a woman who is 85, and then I sold the extra large to some woman that was about 45. So the range is broad. Why? Because you can all wear the same thing, but if you're 80, you definitely should not be wearing it like you're 20. And if you're 20, you definitely should not be wearing it like you're 80, but that doesn't stop you from being fashionable, stylish, and being able to wear whatever you want. It just means that you need to dress appropriately for your age group. So that's why we're moving into our own brand right now, because we actually don't need the overhead of buying other brands anymore, because it's irrelevant whether they buy Cavalli or whether they buy Etro or whether they buy Marc Jacobs. They're buying Rhein. So that's why we actually are now moving into our own luxury brand, because it shows you the level of trust that the customer has for you now. They understand, they believe. Jim knows that Thomas is never going to put him in some crazy skinny Euro jeans with some boyfriend short jacket that makes him feel all tight and weird when he's been wearing Levi's that have been oversized for the last 10 years. He's going to actually pay attention to his body, move him to more of a slim cut, and know your customer, not just try to get them into something to just make a sale.
Actually, in regards to going back to knowing your customer, we take care of parents, their children, their grandparents. I mean, it's like family. It's like a family scenario whereby Christmas time comes and you'll find someone like Jim, his daughter will come in with Jim's credit card to buy for her mother. It's like we've got this whole network going because you took care of one, he didn't have a choice of where to go, you had to take care of his wife. Then he brought his wife, then he brought his kids, then he brought his father-in-law, and then the network just grew like this. So you just become this trusted place to go for one family. But then that multiplies, right? So it then comes to, and I was saying, when it comes to special occasions like